You're listening to the Prospector Podcast. Hi, and welcome to the Prospector Podcast. My name's Andrew, aka Another Gold Prospector. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoy this episode and like and share it far and wide. Well, this week we'll be doing the regular segments like research tips, forgotten gold hotspots. We'll do a shout out and prospector etiquette. But the big news, a massive announcement, a real A-list guest that's going to be joining us on the show, on this podcast. So you need to hang around to find out who it is. You won't be disappointed, I can assure you of that. Now, before you fast forward to the end to find out, I'm going to do it, I'm already on to you, and I'm going to do it in a random spot in the show. So you're just going to have to listen to me for a bit longer. All right, guys, let's get into the show. The research tip or tool this week is groups. Yep, groups. Back in the Stone Age, we used to call them forums or notice boards, but I'll get back to them later. Facebook groups that are focused on prospecting and detecting can be, and I emphasize can be, a good source of information, depending on what you're after. If you're looking to buy your first detector, asking in these groups is perfect. You get people that have got experience with the detectors and will normally give you an honest, bit of advice. Some groups, you'll even get pointed in the right direction of where to start looking for gold. But be cautious, as there are people out there that find it entertaining to send newcomers on wild goose chases through the bush. Yes, they need to get a life. Back to the old forums. There's still heaps online, and all their archives are full of information that can be very, very useful in compiling research. Most of them have search engines, so you can just hit the target topic you're after and find what you're looking for in them. Most people back then didn't know what a troll was, so they just shared info, although, they did stop short, like any other sane person, of giving exact locations away. The threads are definitely worth reading if you get the chance. They're filled with old heads with old knowledge. Both Facebook and old forums, I personally have found them to be very helpful in the past, and something I actively use researching gold and gear for prospecting. All right, are you ready for the announcement? You are? Well, I'm not. You'll have to wait a bit longer. Let's shout out a prospector content creator for the week. This week, the shout out goes to James from JM Prospecting on YouTube. Guys, I've met James. I've chatted with him online. He's a genuine top bloke. Really nice guy. He supports the prospecting community along with putting out quality gold content on his channel. So be sure to go and sub if you haven't already to JM Prospecting. I will put a link in the description below to his YouTube channel. Actually, I know James listens to the podcast. Hey mate, you keen to come on for a chat sometime soon? Let me know. Cheers. See what I did there? Okay, time for the forgotten gold hotspot this week. And I'm not doing one. Curveball. It's time for the announcement that I've been raving about, and for good reason. I'm a huge fan of this person's work. I'm genuinely excited to have the opportunity to chat to them on the podcast. With a huge sub count on YouTube, a dedicated Reddit page, an Insta and Facebook presence, if you don't know this channel I'm talking about, you're living under a rock. Under a rock was a clue. OzGeology himself is coming on the Prospector Podcast. Woo, yeah. Crowd goes wild. Look, OzGeology wrote the book when it comes to research and knowledge compiled into a very engaging content creation. He's, in my opinion, the best geo and gold origins channel you can watch. His content is well respected in the prospecting community and deep dives into the world of geology, mineralogy, volcanology, and many natural disasters in a way that helps us hole digging prospectors grasp it. If for some strange reason you've not subscribed to OzGeology, you need to jump on YouTube right now and go and do it. Link in the description below. This will be a podcast that can't be missed as it is, but I think the only fair thing to do is get the listeners involved. As I know from comment sections in my channel, there are a lot of people that have questions or requests, etc. Now, I don't like the question and answer format on a podcast. I feel a casual chat is easier, and that's what I'll be aiming for. However, I will hopefully have some time to do a listener's question segment with OzGeology. If you have a question or request that you would like me to ask, then it must go in the comment section of this podcast on YouTube. So if you are listening on Spotify or Apple or whatever, etc., you will need to go to my YouTube channel, Another Gold Prospector, and add your question in the comment section of this podcast. Let's keep it professional and show how much the prospecting community enjoys OzGeology's content. Let all your prospecting mates know about this and give everyone an opportunity to get involved. So obviously I'll have to shortlist the questions if I get inundated, which I hope is the case. So try and get your question to stand out from the rest. You'll have some time to think about it, as we haven't locked in a date as yet. But it will be the next episode of the podcast. So there you go. I had talked about wanting to get OzGeology on the podcast, and after a few comments he made on my YouTube channel, I reached out and asked if he would come and join us on the podcast, and the rest is history. So I'm pretty pumped about that. And really big name. I know there's a lot of people out there that want to, get some more info and find out more about himself and the channel. So yeah, really excited, and hope you guys are too. So get it spread far and wide that it's going to be happening, so we can really get some numbers on the podcast and boost his channel as well, because he deserves it. He certainly puts in the hard yards and puts out the content. So it's our turn to show some appreciation. Now let's do prospector etiquette this week. Except it's probably more a life lesson than etiquette. So you don't have to listen if you don't want, but I think it's important to remember. And that is that there's always someone smarter or more knowledgeable than you. Now that's the easy part to remember. Sometimes the hard part is to stop, listen, and learn from that person, and not try and compete with ego. Think like a sponge, be the sponge. On that note, it would be a fitting time for me to shut up. Guys, spread the news about OzGeology coming on and your chance to ask questions. Make sure you have subscribed and have the notifications bell on so you don't miss a thing. Nice short one this week. Till next time, thanks for listening. Talk soon.